Let's figure out the legend of Lake Tung Ting Shrimp. Recently, I was going over a menu from a Chinese takeout restaurant that's near my house, and I saw something on the menu, and I actually have it right here in front of me, called Lake Tung Ting Shrimp, which I've never seen before. And it turns out I did a little research, and we're going to try this dish, get into a little bit about it. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is get your nearest Chinese takeout menu and see if this is on the menu. In mine, it's under chef specialties, but it may be under shrimp. And let me know in the comments or in the live chat whether or not you see it. But let's make a plate. Let's see what this stuff looks like. I was pretty surprised. So here it is. Whew. It basically is a shrimp with broccoli dish. Now I have a little white rice right here, and the description says Lake Ting Tung Shrimp, Tung Ting Shrimp, jumbo shrimps marinated with broccoli, mushroom, and bamboo shoots with white wine sauce. Now, the research I found online tells me that the sauce actually has a little bit more in it, and you might be spoiled by the thumbnail already. But let's see. Let's see what we got here. From the sauce, you can see there's some white clumpy areas. And I gotta admit, typically these aren't my favorite types of dishes from Chinese takeout. Like shrimp with lobster sauce. Looks like we got some corn, some broccoli, some shrimp, some of these silly mushrooms. Throw one of those in there. I feel like we got a good sample in there. Let's get a little of this extra sauce. Now you can see that's clumpy. Now apparently the sauce is thickened with egg white and milk. Interesting. I got an egg roll for good measure. So let's see how it tastes, guys. Here we go. Here's Lake Tung Ting Shrimp. I always get the vowels confused. And we'll get into a little bit of the history here because it's interesting. So let's taste a shrimp. Okay. It's saltier than it looks. Let's go in for a broccoli. Sometimes the vegetables taste better in these dishes than the proteins. Okay. Brings out a little bit of the sweetness. Got some bamboo shoot and some corn. It's a lot more savory than I expected it to be. Let's try one of these silly mushrooms and we'll get into this history. Wow. Wow, that is a mushroom. Ooh. Oh boy, it's the mushroomiest mushroom I've ever had. I don't see anything coming in the live chat, so let's talk about what this is. I found a resource from somebody's website. The person's name is Barry Popick. I don't know where this stuff comes from, but from Wikipedia, there's a place in China in the Hunan province called Danting Lake. It's a flood basin of the Yangtze River, so the lake size depends on the season. Apparently, this is where dragon boat racing started, but this dish dates back to, it was first published in 1972 in Women's Wear Daily, and this is all from this man's website. A restaurant called Hunan Restaurant, 845 2nd Avenue near 45th Street in Manhattan, where it says the Lake Tung Ting shrimp and white sauce are marinated with broccoli, ham, bamboo shoots, and mushrooms. And then there's a few other references to it. Marinated with broccoli, ham, mushrooms. It's apparently considered a bland dish from what I can see online here. But the frothy egg white is definitely the interesting thing here. Crisp, almost raw broccoli flowers. Bland oil slick. These are like restaurant reviews. And I'll leave a link to this person's website in the description down below after the stream here. But I thought it would be an interesting thing to try, and I'm going to go in one more time for this because let me show it to you once again here. So it was a lot more white than I thought it would be, but now that I come to see it, that's what the sauce looks like. And I guess there is some brownness to it. That must be soy sauce influence. All right. Let's try one more bite, and then let's get into this egg roll. We'll get into the rest of our history lesson here. Now, one thing I'll say, ever since the Egg Foo What podcast that one of my friends, AP Mike, runs, along with a man, Greg Wilson, and I appeared on that podcast earlier this year, but I've been scrutinizing Chinese takeout menus a lot more. I've always kind of stuck to my old faithfuls, and I've been exploring and finding all these really cool things I've never heard of before. Now, I don't know that I would ever order this again. I don't like straight up shrimp dishes, but I wouldn't say this is a bad thing. Of course, we got to go into a little egg roll. Now, this is a place called Amazing Wok in Colonie, New York, and one of the things that I rate a Chinese restaurant off of is what their takeout sauce packets are. So whenever you see this brand, YM or WY, whatever it is, the food generally tends to be better. Another criteria I have is the egg roll. In this case here, it's kind of unremarkable. So let's see what it tastes like with a little bit of this hot mustard. You always got to go with the hot mustard. Making a mess! Speaking of, we have a limited edition hoodie up on the merch site. You can check that out. I don't have it yet. I just have the t-shirt. Okay. Yeah, this mustard is the best one. This YM brand. So, the reason why Tung Ting Shrimp is interesting to me is because in this resource that I have, there's a few book references. One called A Cultural History of Chinese Food in the United States by Andrew Ko. On page 242, it says, in 1972, the Hunan restaurant introduced diners to the hot cuisine of China's Hunan province. General's chicken and Lake Tung Ting shrimp are now served by Chinese restaurants across the country. So I'm generally interested. And I put a poll up in the live chat. I don't see too much activity there, but if you're watching in the replay, leave a comment down below. Is it on the menu at your restaurant? Because I have another local restaurant, Ming, who, if you've recently seen, I've made a few shorts with some of the food from Ming's. This is my go-to place that I've been really liking lately since I've been eating a little more Chinese food. And this Lake Tung Ting shrimp is nowhere to be found on this menu. So I'd be interested to know. So leave a comment with where you are and whether it's on the menu. And when I say where you are, don't give me your address. Tell me where in the United States or elsewhere that you are. But it's funny because there are also some other dishes that I've learned about on the Egg Foo What podcast. Like, apparently, Happy Family, Four Seasons, and Triple Delight are the same dish, just missing proteins for each one. So I think it goes Happy Seasons, it goes Triple Delight, Four Seasons, Happy Family. And that was a fun little thing I discovered. But there's a lot of hidden gems on the Chinese restaurant. If you also want to leave a comment, what's your go-to thing on the menu? For me, I always love boneless spare ribs and fried or steamed dumplings. But I love these stir-fried dishes as well. Can't go wrong with a General Tso. But let's see what our fortune is. Let's see what this brings us. Because, 2023 is coming up. So maybe we have some good fortune in the future. All right. And I did get one. So lately I've noticed Chinese restaurants don't give fortune cookies. and the amount of times they actually get a fortune, it kind of differs. So let's see our fortune. It says lotus blossoms smell better when you stop. I guess that means like the Bruce Lee quote, don't look at all the heavenly glory, don't concentrate on the finger. Lotus blossoms smell better when you stop. So stop and smell the lotus blossoms. And that's kind of what we did here in reviewing this Lake Tung Ting Shrimp. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit a like on the video, subscribe if you like food, and we'll see you in the next live review. In a few weeks, I have an eggnog showdown that you're not going to want to miss. I want to see everybody in here live for that one. Thanks a lot, and if you're watching in the replay, click another video. We have lots of stuff going on in the channel here. Thanks for all your support. Take care.